Here's a number that should scare you. You will earn somewhere between $1 and $5 million in your lifetime, and most people will retire with almost none of it. Not because they didn't work or because they didn't earn, they earned a fortune. It just passed through their hands on the way to someone else's. The middle class isn't broke because it doesn't make enough money. It's broke because of a set of traps designed to be invisible. Each one feels normal, responsible even, and every single one quietly moves money out of your future and into someone else's present. Today, I'm going to walk you through all of them, and I'll bet you're standing in at least 3 of them right now. But before the traps, one idea, because it's the key that unlocks all of them. Wealth doesn't live in what you earn. It lives in the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is the only thing that ever becomes savings, investments, freedom, options, any of it. Every trap in this video does exactly one thing. It closes that gap. Some raise your spending, some hide it. Some make you feel rich while quietly making you poorer. But the mechanism is always the same. The gap disappears, and you never notice, because your lifestyle grows to hide the evidence. Keep that in mind. By the end of this, you'll never look at a good deal the same way again. You get the promotion, you earned it. So you tell yourself you deserve a little more, a nicer place, the better grocery aisle. Dinner out on a Wednesday? Because why not? None of it is reckless. That's the trick. Every upgrade is defensible on its own. But watch what happens to the gap. Your income went up 20%, your spending went up 20%, and the distance between them, the only thing that was ever going to make you free, didn't move an inch. You didn't get richer. You got comfortable at a higher price point. Same treadmill, faster belt. And the cruelest part, 10 years and 3 raises later, you're still 1 bad month away from 0. Just with nicer furniture. Here's the tell. If you can't remember what you did with your last raise, it already happened. Your car runs fine. But the dealer shows you something newer and says the magic words. We can lower your monthly payment. Here's what actually happens under the table. You still owe money on the old car, so they roll that debt into the new loan. Then, they drop your payment by stretching 5 years into 7. Lower number, longer sentence, higher total. 3 years later, you're upside down again, owing more than the car is worth. So you do it all over. And again, you're not upgrading. You're renting, with extra steps and worse terms, and you reset the clock every time you sit in that chair. Meanwhile, the person who bought one decent car and kept it has been driving for free for years. That's the whole difference between them and you. Not income. Patience. The bank says you qualify for the big number. You hear permission. You should hear this is the maximum we can extract from you for 30 years. Because the bank only ran the mortgage. It didn't run the property tax, the insurance, the water heater that dies in July, the roof, the lawn, the 1,000 small bleeds of actually living in a house. So you bought at the top of the range, and now the house eats the raise, the vacation, the savings, and the breathing room. You wanted a home. You got a beautiful building you can't afford to leave. That's not an asset you own. That's a landlord you can't fire. And the landlord is the house. Here's the rule they'll never tell you. Buy the house you can afford on one income or on a quarter of your take-home pay. Let the rest of your life stay yours. You owe $3,000. The statement says the minimum payment is $60, and $60 feels fine. $60 feels handled. So zoom in. Of that $60, most of it is interest. Maybe $10 actually touches what you owe. The rest evaporates into the bank. Next month, interest recalculates on almost the same balance, and you repeat. At that pace, $3,000 takes over a decade to clear, and you'll pay close to double by the end. The minimum payment isn't a courtesy. It's a leash, engineered to the exact length that keeps you paying forever while feeling like you're managing it. Minimum doesn't mean enough. It means endless. The pitch is seductive. Insurance that never expires and builds cash value like an investment. 2 products in one. Forced savings. Responsible adult stuff. Here's the money's real journey. A huge slice of your early premiums goes to commissions and fees. The person who sold it gets paid first, and handsomely. What's left splits between the actual insurance and a cash value account crawling along at 2 or 3% a year. Now, compare that to the boring alternative. Term life for a fraction of the price, and the difference invested in a plain index fund. Over a couple of decades, that's not a small gap. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. And here's the punchline. To touch your own cash value, you often have to borrow it and pay interest on it. Die with it, and the company frequently keeps it. For most people, this isn't protection. It's a wealth transfer wearing a financial planning costume. There are a few narrow cases where a policy like this fits. But narrow is the word. If someone's rushing you, that's the tell. Your budget balances beautifully, as long as nothing ever goes wrong. Every dollar is assigned before it arrives, and you've quietly decided nothing will break, nobody will get sick, the car will run forever. Then the transmission goes. The tooth cracks, the dog needs surgery. Suddenly you need $800, then $1,500, then $3,000, and you don't have it. So out comes the card, and an inconvenience becomes debt with interest that follows you for years. The experts say keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in reserve. Most people have a few $100s. That gap between should and reality is exactly where financial disasters live. Emergencies aren't rare events. They're scheduled. You just don't know the date. Living without a buffer isn't optimism. It's standing one breakdown away from collapse every single day and calling it fine. Your coworkers got the new watch, your neighbor remodeled, your feed is wall-to-wall Europe, and suddenly your real life feels small, so you spend to catch up. Not for you. For the scoreboard, you assume everyone's watching. Here's the truth nobody says out loud. Nobody's watching. They're too busy financing their own appearance to notice yours. The coworker with the watch is drowning in payments. The remodel was a second mortgage. The Europe trip maxed out 3 cards. Everyone's faking it, and everyone assumes everyone else is real. You're paying interest to impress an audience that forgot about it by lunch. The appearance of success is one of the most reliable ways to destroy the actual thing. Bad day, so you buy something, and for about an hour you feel great, in control, rewarded. Then the feeling drains, and you're left with the exact same problem, plus a charge on the card, plus fresh guilt about the charge. So your brain, hunting for relief, suggests the only fix it knows. Buy again. And the debt you're now stressed about becomes the very thing you're shopping to escape. The retailers know this loop cold. The flash sales, the countdown timers, the buy now, feel better now, worry later, and later always shows up. You're not treating yourself. You're medicating with merchandise and paying interest on relief that's already gone by the time the bill arrives. Name brand cereal, $6. The store brand right beside it, same ingredients, $3. Designer jeans, $150. Nearly identical denim without the label, $30. The generic medication is legally required to have the same active ingredient as the branded one. In blind tests, people can't tell the difference because often there isn't one. The premium doesn't buy quality. It buys a story about yourself, taste, standards, success. And the extra you pay doesn't go into the product. It goes into advertising to convince the next person to overpay. You're funding the machine that manipulates you and then tipping it for the privilege. Over a lifetime, that story costs tens of thousands of dollars for a feeling. None of these next ones hurt on their own. That's the whole design. $7 delivery fee, $4 service charge, 12 subscriptions you forgot you have. Express shipping, because 3 days feels impossible. The premium phone plan for data you don't use. Pre-cut vegetables, convenience parking. Each one is trivial. But together, they quietly pull $4,000 to $6,000 a year out of your life. Money that could have cleared debt or started compounding. Convenience isn't the enemy. Convenience as the default is. Harm hides in repetition. You're not buying comfort, you're renting it forever, at compound cost. And the fix isn't deprivation. It's making convenience a choice you notice, instead of a reflex you don't. This next one is worth pulling out on its own, because it's gotten worse. The business model of the last decade is turning things you used to buy once into things you rent forever. Software, storage, streaming. The app that unlock with feature you use twice. Each one is engineered to be small enough to ignore and automatic enough to forget. They renew silently. They creep the price up $1 at a time. And the annual ones bill you on a day you'll never remember. So go into your account settings right now and read the list out loud. Most people find at least 3 things they're paying for and completely forgot existed. That's not an accident, that's the product. The budget stops working, so instead of cutting, you decide to earn more. Second job, weekend gigs, deliveries at night, and the money helps for a minute. But watch what it actually does. The extra income quietly covers the overspending, so you never fix why you overspend in the first place. Worse, the grind justifies more spending. I worked 60 hours this week. I deserve the takeout. and the side money vanishes into the same holes as the main money. Now you're exhausted, missing sleep, missing your family, all to sustain a lifestyle that shouldn't exist. Here's the math nobody frames right. Cutting $500 of spending gives you $500 every month, forever, for free. Earning an extra $500 costs you your time, your energy, and your health every single month. Side hustles aren't bad, but using one to avoid fixing your spending is like running on a treadmill to outrun your own shadow. I saved this next one for last, because it's the most expensive trap of all, and it's the one that feels the most responsible to walk into. You tell yourself you'll start investing next year, after the raise, once the loans are gone, when things settle down. It sounds prudent. It's a catastrophe, because compound interest runs on time, not effort. $200 a month, starting at 25, can grow past $500,000 by 65. The exact same $200 a month starting at 40 barely clears $200,000. Same money in. Wildly different life out. And here's the part that really hurts. Waiting from 25 to 35 doesn't cost you 10 years. It costs you 30 years of growth on those contributions, because the earliest dollars are the ones with the most time to multiply. There is no right time coming. There's only compounding time, and every month you wait, you're setting fire to the most valuable money you'll ever have, the money you invest young. So if you take one action from this entire video, make it this. If your job matches your retirement contributions and you're not taking the full match, you are declining a raise. Start today. Small and now beats big and later, every single time. So step back and look at all of them together, because they're not 13 separate problems. They're one. Every trap here works by attacking the same thing. The gap between what you earn and what you keep. Lifestyle creep raises your spending. Convenience hides it. Appearances borrow against it. Whole life insurance, minimum payments, the car payment treadmill, they all quietly hand your gap to someone who profits from it. And the retirement delay makes sure the little gap you do have never gets the time to grow. So the escape is simpler than it sounds. You don't need to earn more. You need to defend the gap. Protect it like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. It's the only part of your income that ever becomes freedom. So pick one trap from this video, just one, and step out of it this week. Cancel the subscriptions, take the full match, cut $500 instead of earning it. Then come back next month and do the next one. You've been earning a fortune this whole time. It's about time you actually got to keep some of it. So tell me down in the comments, which trap are you standing in right now? And if this made you see your money a little differently, subscribe, because that's exactly what this channel is for.